Yo, what's up guys, Kobe Cheese here for another First Impressions video. This time I'm going to be doing some Shyvana. And I played several games on her this time, actually a few more than I usually do, just because I did have some fun on her and I wanted to try a few different things. And so I have a couple of different ways for you to play her, mostly in the jungle. From my experience, that is the best. You can try her out in the lane, but I honestly don't feel like she is a laner. She's a great jungler. Let's just talk about all the different things in her kit that make this really possible for her. First of all, she doesn't have any mana, so what that means is you're not going to run out of mana in the jungle. You can continue going on and on in the jungle. Also, by the time you get to the second blue, you can already give that to your AP carry without worrying about it slowing down your jungle. She's also got a free AoE ability, making it very quick for you to clear out your jungle. She's got a very fast jungle time. You'll hit level 6 very fast and be able to easily go in and gank enemies and things like that. So another thing is that she's got decent ganks, but for this to work out really well, you'll probably want to pick up Exhaust. So while unfortunately you won't have the Flash as your escape or initiate ability, it's okay because you do have your Dragon form, and that is somewhat of a Flash in a way. So what's really good about her is that you can come out of a bush and exhaust the enemy, and that actually makes ganks really strong with your 3-second speed boost ability. You come out of the bush, you get a speed boost, and if you start attacking the enemy, then boom, you've already got more duration on that speed boost, so you'll be able to stick to them like glue. And then you got exhaust, so they're not going anywhere, and that's a first blood or just a successful gank overall. As far as laning is concerned, I don't really like that so much. She doesn't have any kind of a dash ability to help her escape if she does get ganked. She can't dash in to harass and attack. Her ranged creep farming skills aren't that great either. You can max your E first, and I'd say that would be okay. Normally you want to max your W and then your Q and then your E, and that's the strongest way to build her in my opinion. But when you lane, just thinking of the best way to do it, you'd probably want to max your E and then run up in Q and max your Q second, because whenever you hit your E, which is your little fireball, each attack will do 15% of that E damage. So you can E them and then run up and Q them, and that'll give you a quite a nice burst. But for that to happen, of course, it is a skill shot, and you will have to land that and then run up and hit them with that. So other than that, I mean, she's not going to have the best farm. But moving on from that, let's just keep her in the jungle. I do feel like that is the best way to play her. I also want to talk about some of the cons. While she feels like really strong, she has a lot of problems. When I've found her, I'm a big fan of melee AD carries or just melee AD champions in general. But this is kind of my take on this champion now. So it's a melee character with no dash, no slow, and no stun, or any type of utility of that sort. She does have a speed boost, which is okay, but the problem here is that she's probably one of the most easily shut down melee characters in the game now so far, because she's absolutely useless in team fights that have slows or stuns or anything of that nature, because you're not going to be able to attack anybody, so you're not going to be able to get that boost from her passive. All of her passive is focused on her auto attacking, but you can't attack anyone if everyone's kiting you around and you're just completely useless. So that's unfortunate right there. Also, you only do decent damage when you're auto attacking, and I mean, you can do some good damage with your AoE, with your magic and stuff when you turn in your magic form, but really most of that damage also comes from auto attacking because it improves those abilities. So it's really difficult to do that in a lot of those situations. She doesn't have that real utility that some of the other champions have that can just jump into the fight or jump out easily. She just has to rely on just walking up to you and hitting you in the face. Most people are not going to let you do that. Alright. So that's the bad, worst first. I do enjoy the character though. She's got the ability to snowball fairly well. If you get a couple kills, she can get really strong and pretty hard to kill. You can get very tanky with a couple of items, and she does a great damage when left alone. In other words, when she's not slowed or CC'd, if she sticks to somebody, boom, 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 she's really going to do some work. She's a very fast jungler as well, so I mean, I talked about that earlier, and she does decent AoE in a team fight as long as she's able to get in there and do the abilities that she wants to do. Alright, for runes and masteries, what I like to do, I'll start with runes, is I'll pick up 15% attack speed. by getting 3 attack speed quintessences, and then I'll pick up 4 attack speed seals, which is our yellows, and I'll pick up 1 attack speed red, and then for the rest of the reds, I'll take armor penetration. That gives me 13 armor pen. For the rest of the yellows, I'll take armor. That's 7 armor, and then for blues, I'll do magic resist at level 18, which comes out to 24. That gets you really rounded out well. You get a little bit of armor, a little bit of magic resist, and then the attack speed that you need to help you out in the jungle, as well as just auto-attacking champions in general once you get out of the jungle. Now, as far as your masteries are concerned, just do a 2109, putting points into attack speed. And you definitely do want the Archaic Knowledge for the spell pin, because most of her abilities actually do magic damage, except for her auto attacks and her Q. On your route and build, what you want to do is pick up a cloth armor, 3 health potions, go to the wolves, have somebody not pull the wolves but attack them with you, and then move away, go to the blue. You'll finish off the wolves, and then you'll go up to the blue, try and get a good leash on that blue, and then take it out. You'll level up your W, and then your Q, and then your W, and then your E. Max W first, max Q second, max E last. After you get that blue, run down to the race, and then run down to the small golems, teleport back to your base, pick up a pair of boots and some more health potions, and then you can run to the wolves, and then to the red, and then you're ready to gank that lane. Either the middle or the top or the bottom, depending on which side you're on, and depending on who's pushing up or whatever. You may even be able to do some counter jungling depending on the situation. You just kind of have to look at the situation and determine where you can go. And this is not going to be an overall jungle guide. I'm just trying to give you an idea of the route that you're going to take on her that I found was best. But overall, the thing I found was really useful is at this time, either try and go into the bush and do a bush gank with an exhaust, or come around behind somebody. You can usually find some opportunity here if you just look for it. After those boots, I'll finish off my wriggles next, and then I'll go for Wit's End, and then I'll have a Phage, and then I'll pick up a Warmogs, and that's pretty much the farthest I've gone into the build. But after the Warmogs, I'd probably go for like a Trinity Force or an Atma's, something of that nature, and that will give her really, really tanky. I mean, your main thing is that you wanted that initial attack speed, and after that you want to get really, really tanky so you can run into fights and last out a really long time. Because like I said, you're going to get kited a lot in team fights, and you want to be able to handle the amount of incoming damage that's going to be put upon you. A couple of tips to help you out. You want to make sure that when you're going to ult onto somebody, be sure that you hit your W first, because of the fact that when you're in your dragon form, that W does create like a Corki style, fire on the ground effect. And if you hit W before ulting, that'll leave that on the ground. You'll do some more damage. Also try to have all your cooldowns ready to go and up whenever you do ult, so you can use them all in conjunction, since they do have much more effect when you're in your ult. Another thing is that if you can have somebody help you out with counter jungling, your support CVs, the red, you can actually jump over that when you're level 6 and steal that really easily. There's some good ganks there. Also, once you hit 6, there's opens up more spots to gank. You can jump over walls behind people in the middle or on the top area or whatever, and you can gank that way. Some other things is that you don't always have to use your dragon to do damage if you know you can kill somebody. Try and save that dragon either to escape if necessary, or you can just use it to initiate whenever you're not close enough to catch up to somebody. But in any case, it is possible to be a fairly good counter jungler on Shyvana because of the quick jungle speed and how fast you can run around the map and things like that. Another thing to take note of is you don't want to fly immediately into the middle of a fight with your ultimate. You'll probably get yourself killed that way. I kind of did that a lot when I first started. I was like, I'm a dragon, I'm going in, and no, it didn't really work. Anyways, guys, I feel like Shyvana is fairly balanced. She doesn't feel too strong, to be honest, because of the issues she has with no utility. And she's not the best jungler in my opinion, but she is a pretty good one. I prefer people with dashes, stuns, slows, that sort of utility. But the speed buff is nice. It's just not enough to counter enemy champions that have those slows. Anyone else with a dash or speed ability will probably kite you to death with no issue, and you won't be able to stop them. Other than that though, guys, pick up Shyvana if you like dragons, if you just want another jungler to round out your arsenal. And I'd say that you would probably have fun. I enjoyed her. I don't really like jungling that much, but I'd probably pick up Shyvana if I felt like jungling a few times. So anyways, that's it. If you guys liked the video, please let me know. Hit that like button, it really helps me out. Add this to your favorites bar, and subscribe if you have not already, so you'll know when the next video is coming out. It's Kobe Cheese, guys. Peace out.